Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is our Pimp Sun Kiss coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a Royale review for My Wife and Kids Season 2, Episode 1. Yes, God, we is back in full effect for Season 2 of My Wife and Kids. If you have not caught up on my Season 1 reviews, be sure to head on over to my playlist. Tap on that My Wife and Kids playlist and get your life. I also may put the link to the playlist in the comment section. So, do what you will, how you feel, and what's real. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, God. So, couple things before we get right into it. Like I said, it's Season 2. So, for those of you who don't know, we have a cast switch. Just one character, okay, has changed their actress, and that would be Miss Claire. Okay, so it is no longer Jazz Ray Cole. Season 2, straight out the gate, it is Jennifer. I am so sorry why I can't think of her name. Freeman. Jennifer Freeman, okay? So we got Jennifer Freeman and, coming over to take on the role of Claire, and she fulfills that role throughout the rest of the series' sake. And quiet as it's kept, loud as it is, the first 2 episodes of Season 2 are the said reason as to why Jazz Ray Cole's mother took her out of the series, okay? And we'll pinpoint that particular storyline once we get into the specificities of the episode, okay? Okay, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it. We ain't going to waste no more time. I'm going to go ahead and get right into said specificities. Now, top of the episode, we get your boy, Michael Kyle, as y'all know, played by Damon Wayans, entering the room of young boy Junior in there pushing V's, getting his beauty risks. And Michael weasels on in. You can tell that it's about, and that's good, that's good light design and execution, especially with this being a sitcom of the early 2000s. That's really good light design and execution that they were able to give the texture, the vibe, the lighting essence of it being like before the crack of dawn. You can tell that it's probably like 5 o'clock in the morning that he's in there waking Junior up, talking about rise and shine, cut them on up, or to be the foot up your behind, okay, or something like that. So he like, come on, it's time for calisthenics. I think I said that right, but that's basically a form of working out. So in my terms, I would say, get up for PT, get up for personal training, get up for conditioning, workout, your morning workout, your physical education, okay, your physical activity. So that's what he's getting them up for. Now, you would think he just getting Junior up because it's a special occasion or something, they got something to do. But nah, Junior responds to him and is like, look, mama wouldn't have us doing this. Why is you doing this to us? Please leave me be. Away from me with this Apollo. And so that lets us know that Jay is not present. And Michael lets us know basically that she is away and she'll be gone until they grandma leg heal up. So I don't know if she had surgery or she fell and hurt herself or something, but grandma is in distress. Grandma is down. Grandma 32, okay? Clean up our tree. And Jay is on the move, okay? So he getting them up. We end up transitioning on downstairs, where we also see Lil Katie down there getting her calisthenics and stuff, or whatever it's called. And they singing the YMCA. Well, Michael is singing the YMCA while he is taking them through the calisthenics of it all. And he like, wait a minute, we got a straggler. Where is Claire? Huh? Where she at? There she go. Moseying on down the stairs, honey. And I appreciate the way that they did Jennifer's intro as Claire, because, I can imagine how people experienced it watching it in real time, as it was coming on as it went. And so I think it was a great idea to weave it into where, he is getting them up, and when Jay's away, so it's like that extra little twinkle effect, little magic effect of the changes that took place. Because if I'm not mistaken, in real life, Tisha Campbell wasn't on the first couple of episodes because she had just had a baby. So changes happening in real life that end up like kind of weaving in with the changes that happen with the characters and their stories and such on the show, amongst all out changing a whole actress that's playing one of the characters, while one of the characters and actresses is away. So, I also want to say that it's good casting as well. Even though there are some isms that, we'll tap on when it comes up. But I think it's really good casting that the Claire, the actress that they casted, resembles Tisha Campbell's aesthetic enough. And it works for like the character development that happens with them throughout the seasons, and their mother-daughter relating and at certain points kind of competing with each other. So it kind of makes like a method to the madness with the isms, I also appreciated the casting of Jazz Ray Cole as well, because in real life, Damon has a sister named Kim. I feel like Jazz Ray Cole is kind of like a Jazz Ray Cole's casting and the original, aesthetic and characterization and such of Claire was kind of meant to mimic their sisters, Kim in particular, because Kim is the one that we have seen more. So, those of you who know of Kim Wayans, that is, all that. But yeah, and y'all know the granddaddy is also dark skinned, so it's like they show real genetic makeup of a black family. It ain't just everybody light skinned because the parents are light skinned, or everybody dark skinned because both of the parents are dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? I be appreciating when they show real black genetics. And so that's also why Jennifer's casting is slightly bittersweet, but I like how they worked it. Now, enough of my ranting and rambling on that subject. Y'all excuse all that extra stuff y'all hear in the background. Mother Nature is dancing or singing or something. She's doing some things, and it's causing some extra activity in my background. So just know that's Mother Nature. Everything is cool. But yeah, so I appreciate the way that they did this intro where we get Junior up and we head on downstairs. We see Junior and Katie doing the thing, and we like, okay, we know where Jay at. Where's Claire? Claire come on down, and it's like, okay, well, who the fuck is this? And of course, at this point, we know who it is, but like, I can imagine watching it in real time. It's like, whoa, oh, so this is the girl. Who is this? That is not Claire. And so Michael acknowledges it, and he's like, wait a minute, something different about you? And Claire's like, ugh, what? I just pulled my hair back. What? And he like, no, you look like a whole different person. And so they have that acknowledgement, move forward. They continue on with the calisthenics and calisthenics, YMCA, shake your groove thing. So it heads on into the intro of the show, and then we pick back up with Katie and Michael in the kitchen. And Katie is trying to get herself together for school and everything. And of course, it's different. It's a struggle because Jay ain't there to do her hair. So she tried to put her hair in a ponytail or whatever. She couldn't get it to secure. So she go to Michael for help. I don't know why she didn't go to Claire for help. Maybe Claire was unavailable, locked in the bathroom, being moody or something. But she go to Michael for help. And he takes some duct tape and wrap it around, and wrap it around her shit, talking about, there you go. And she's talking about, see, this is not how mommy would do it. Like, no, I can't go to school looking like this. He's talking about, well, look, mommy is not here. I'm going to have to do everything. So you just let me know everything that you need me to do. And I'm going to make sure that I try to do it. And she like, well, first of all, you can take the stupid tape off of my head. So he goes ahead and he does so. And she is also like, she wants some cookies. Okay? She wants some cookies. It's the type of cookies that, y'all know I be steady calling Jay Claire and Claire Jay, because I was first introduced to the name Claire on the Cosby Show. So I understand Claire to be a mama ass name. So, but yeah, it's a specific type of cookies that Jay cooks. I can't remember the name of them. Once I turn the show back on, they're going to say it again, and I'll clarify what the cookies is. But yeah, so Michael is like, well, look, I can't guarantee that I'm going to make them how mommy make them, but I can definitely try to satisfy your desires, honey. And so she's like, okay, cool. And at that moment, Junior walks in, and his clothes are starched to capacity. And he is not satisfied with his father, because he knows that his father is the cause of this overdose starching that his clothes has got. And your boy can barely walk. He can barely sit down. He is looking a fool. He is looking a clown, okay? And Michael says, I ain't do nothing but starch your clothes up. I just put enough out there to last until your mama get home. I know you are fucking lying, but that is man math for you. So Junior sit down, and he started talking about, he trying to prepare for basketball tryouts. And Michael is like, hey, don't get your hopes up. Don't get too ahead of yourself, art is your strength. So make sure you keep your strength and your eggs in that basket more than anything, regardless of what happens. You know what I'm saying? And he emphasizes that you ain't that good at basketball, fam. You ain't that good. And another thing is, you just not all that good. And the other part is, you just not that good. So make sure you remember your art. And he explains to him too, something that's low-key, high-key real. And I love that while it can easily be taken as him jabbing at his son and discouraging his son, because, if you caught up on the previous season and stuff, there's a lot of conversations about Michael playing too much and being a little too critical of Junior, and not being self-aware of how much criticism he's saying to him at once and on a daily. But in this particular moment, I feel like it was balanced, because he didn't just say, nigga, you suck, you ain't never gonna be shit, go sit down. He said, art is your strength. So regardless of what happens, make sure you remember your art. That's your bread and butter. That's your thing. That's your strength. That's your throne that you sit on. That's your magic wand, son. Okay? And he didn't tell him not to try out. He didn't even say that he wasn't gonna make it. But he was real with him that his skill may not be up to par. And even if he does make it, he might not play as much as he expects to or wants to. And he might not be as good as some of the other guys on his team. Because Another part of their reality is a lot of the guys that go out for basketball and football in particular, more quote unquote urban, if you will, public school type situations, they're coming from a lifestyle where they feel like all they got is the sport. So they gonna play like their life is betting on it, because in their reality, their life is betting on it. And so Junior might be good, he might have some skills, he might have some talent when it comes to basketball, but he not gonna be as hungry and as serious about it as the mother boys, because Junior ain't had to be hungry like the mother boys, and just how Junior is. Because I'm definitely not saying that because he's a posh, privileged kid that he can't, have some grit about him. But just how Junior is, the way that his character has been depicted to us, that's not really him. He can play some ball, but he's more of a lover than a fighter. He's more of an artist than an athlete. He's more in tune with his feminine energy effortlessly. And his mama is a very dainty, doting housewife that coddles him as well. So that also makes some differences, At this point, Claire enters, and Michael is clocking her outfit because she got glitter bedazzlings around her belly button. She got on a midriff, and I think she had like what you could call a tramp stamp glitter bedazzling on her lower back type thing. And he like, what is all that? What is all that? Now that outfit that she had on, I am for certain going to do a video at some point going through the Claire's fashions, because she has some fashions that are low-key how she slept on, the original one and Jennifer Freeman's Claire. But this outfit was so cute too, and it's so early 2000s, cute as midriff with what is it called? Baby tee midriff. And the lower abdomen is showing, the upper hip is showing. She got on the hip hugger, low riding tight jeans, not with the booty crack showing like Beyonce, but it's like toting the line, okay? And so, in my opinion, it's not that bad. It could be worse, right? Michael feels like it's an advertisement. He say, okay, and he explains that all he see is a flashing, glittery advertisement that says, hey, look at my belly button and draw your eyes on up to my boobs. And hey, you see this shine on my lower back? It's nothing compared to my behind. Just a mess. And while I don't feel like the outfit is that bad, I also see both sides, because he do got a point. Like most men, young men, that's kind of how their mind is gonna work around that. But that ain't her fault. That ain't her responsibility. She just want to bedazzle her body. You know what I'm saying? She want to do a little glitter, little creativity to the body, yada yada of it all, okay? And she like, bro, you tripping about some glitter and some bedazzling, but you won't let me get no piercing or Nathaniel. Like, what I'm supposed to do? Gosh, where is the love? And he like, you right. I won't let you get a gun. I won't let you shoot heroin. You can't get no tattoos. I said, hold up, stop the madness. Stop the madness. Guns versus glitter. How did we go from glitter to guns? That's how you know Damon Wayans is a Virgo. So Michael has to be a Virgo too, because your mind went from glitter to guns. Only a Virgo. That's only the mind of a Virgo. But what this makes me feel though, and I'll explain in depth at another time, but that type of reaction, like when people respond in that way, particularly Michael responding in that way to Claire, as it concerns this glitter to guns type situation that his mind has pipelines, it makes me feel like he recognizes how intelligent and clever Claire really is, like how brilliant she is. Because even though Jennifer Freeman's Claire is much more goofy and has a lot more slow moments, kind of like Dixie, instances, than Jazz Ray Cole's Claire, Jennifer Freeman's Claire is still brilliant. She's very book smart, idealistic smart, strategically calculated type of smart. And so creativity equals freedom. And people in authority, when they are insecure in their authority in any type of way, they tend to fear someone who is both brilliant, exercising their creativity, because that leads to freedom and that leads to power. So I feel like that type of thing is Michael and a person like Michael trying to maintain their grip on the reins. They're trying to maintain their authority, because he may fear that Claire being so brilliant and like gifted how she is and developing as fast as she is, and she's finding ways to be creative with all that she is and all that she has, he's afraid of her tasting too much freedom and power too soon. And again, we'll stick a pin in that. He goes on to say, go ahead. You go ahead and wear it, okay? Don't even worry about it. You just go ahead and wear it. So now she feeling suspicious. She's like, whoa, what you mean by that? He said, just go ahead. It's all right. She said, what you mean? It ain't no catch to that. Like, what you talking about? Ain't no strings attached? He said, no, you want to wear it? You wear it. You like that? I love it. Go ahead. And she's like, because I feel like you playing games with me. You know how you like to do. You know how you like to do with your psychology, okay? You know how you like to be doing all that extra trickery dickery doc. And he like, no, it ain't no catch. It ain't no catch. Okay, so cool. It ain't no catch, as you say. Okay, whatever. So she transitioned over to saying, can Charmaine spend the night? He said, for the third night in a row. Wait, what is going on? She said, well, she is my best friend. He like, hold up. You need to put some trouble on that. She said, my bad. Can she spend the night? He said, I ain't met her folks. She ain't gonna spend the night. But after tonight, I'm gonna have to meet some folks. So they agree. Now, in this exchange, there is clear suspicion going on both sides. Okay? Michael gets suspicious of Claire because this girl spending the night 3 times in a row. He ain't met her parents or nothing, and the way that Claire was reacting all jittery and jumping and carrying on. And then questioning him. You know, you ask somebody a question and then they answer your question with a question. So he being talking about, I want to meet her parents and all of this, he asking his questions and whatnot. So now Claire is suspicious of him because she is suspicious. Something going on. Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. Yeah, okay. Now, Michael goes on down the line around the table asking them what they want for breakfast. And they all got their special requests. Claire said she want an egg, sunny side up, with it being just a little soft in the middle. Katie said she want an English muffin. I thought she said she want an egg McMuffin or an English muffin or something. I think she said she want an egg and a muffin. One of the 3. Somewhere between an egg and a muffin. Or English. Whichever one. So, Junior was talking about he wanted a Canadian omelet with some Korean barbecue or something of the sort and some goat cheese, turkey, sausage or something. Honey, asking for something. Child, just used to Claire being there. That's all it is. Because you know that's what, instead of calling her Claire, just used to Jay being there because you know that's what Jay do. Jay will make 50 5-course meals for each individual if that's what they want. Michael says, absolutely not me. But he says, okay, I got you. He walks on over with a nice sized pan of scrambled eggs and puts all of them scrambled eggs in their plate. And he gives the title of what they asked for, but he just put the scrambled eggs in their plate. And of course, they got egg on their face. Because they like, where mama egg? Because this here is ghetto. Okay? Ghetto. And Katie is sick of, she whining, she is sobbing and moaning and carrying on. And it's like, honey, we is not doing this. Mama would not do this. Mama would not treat us like this. Okay? And he like, well, okay, well, you just don't have to deal with it, honey. You just don't have to deal with it. But he tried to be playful about it. And he tried to make a joke about it. He tried to get her to laugh and everything. And all she does is cry. And run. And cry. And run. And cry. And run. And cry. Po little tink tink. Po little tink tink. But what I'm also getting here is that, of course, as was explained in my reviews of the first season, Michael is still newly around the house on a daily, got more time on his hand to be at home than he did before. Now, on top of this, now in the second season, it's been taken up a notch because Jay is now not there. So not only is he now around the house more, but also Jay is not there to be a buffer, a referee, a cushion, or none of that. They have to purely deal with him and he has to purely deal with them. Because the other side of that is he ain't been there. So as he is operating in his authority, they are challenging that at a lot of different turns, because while they may not be saying it directly and or even know that they're feeling it directly, there is a passive-aggressive, microaggressive acting out going on, especially with little girl Katie here, because he has not been there. Like, children are like that. Even if their parents are present, they can tell when you're not as present as you need to be on a subconscious level, and a lot of the times acting out is coming from that. The parent is lacking somewhere on an attention type element. And so, yeah, there's a lot of acting out in, anger, as well as testing your authority, testing the respect in our dynamic because you haven't been here. So it's like, you my daddy, I know you, I respect you, of course you here, but at the same time, we lacking. I don't know you don't know me for real. So respect is earned, not given. It goes both ways. And I appreciate this depiction of it because it's not depicted so much so in a way where the parents are patient with it. Michael is patient with it. Even though he's maintaining his authority and he's maintaining his boundaries, and it's still like, I said what I said, he's still being patient and understanding with the kids and everything that they're going through and the transitions and the differences, and understanding that a lot of it is not them just being bad. They are developing and they got some feelings about some things, and their feelings are valid. Kind of similar to the Bernie Mac show. But on the Bernie Mac show, he communicates more directly about his internal battle with the old school discipline, quote unquote, and gentle parenting, you know, not just beating the shit out the kids for every little fucking thing. Because on some quote unquote old school parenting shit, which is abuse, they would have just been beat the hell out of, and that would have been the end of the episode. Terrible. So glad and grateful for evolution. Now later that day, we is in the living room with Junior and his friends. He got a lovely set of friends here. I'm using that term loosely. They got a lovely set of friends here, and they are all gathered around in the living room having a cipher. Yes, a hip hop helicopter. Hip hop helicopter. Hip hop helicopter. Hip hop helicopter. Okay, a hip hop cipher. And there are at least two of Damon Wayans' sons, or Damon Wayans' son and Damon Wayans' nephew, in this group of friends. I'm not sure if the others are family members and they just don't have the obvious features. They just aren't ones that we immediately recognize. But one of them I know is Damon Wayans Jr. And we're going to have a conversation about his character too. Okay. The other one, I cannot remember his name. But he has a lovely chocolatey chestnut type of skin tone, some beautiful cheekbones. Reminds me a lot of my beau. Anyway, I just love his features. And I believe he's also Damon's son, but I can't remember if he's Damon's son or if he's one of the other brother's sons. But yeah, they are in the crew, and they are playing some of Junior's friends. In this cipher, I'm a do y'all a big one, okay? I'm going to do y'all a big one. Inspired by, you know, the characteristics of myself. But also, your girl rocks. For It's Rocks. Now, It's Rocks, yes, I watch her, and I admire the way she goes the extra mile to, you know, give little concerts and stuff in her reviews. And that's also the type of person I am. So I almost cheated myself and y'all out of the experience. And I was just going to play the clip. But I said, nah, let me go ahead and do this thing passionately and purposefully. So yeah, check it. Now mind y'all, this is I ain't gonna name all of them. Well, they gonna say their names, but the first rap starts with the boy that's Damon Wayans' son, Damon Wayans Jr. specifically. Junior, and then Damon Wayans Jr. is there. You see what they did there? I see what they did there. Anyway, check it. My name is John. Have court ram. Drop illegal long bombs. I'm a ball hog. And I don't play nice. I shake you and bake you. Put your ankles in ice. Now, why the fuck he said to hell with the beat? To hell with the rhythm and the stanzas of bars lining up? I am not sure. He had a little something going there, but I believe him and Remy Ma might be some kin when it comes to their understanding of riding a beat, you know? And I'm just gonna leave that at that. Alright, now the next one. Here you go. My name's Mike, and I got them flows, and I'm known to set a pick like a thumb in your nose. If I ever graduate, I'll probably go to the pros, but if not, I'll probably get with Ludacris and throw them balls. Hold on, I gotta get it. Hold on, I know it. Hold on. Here we go. Cause that boy got bars. You heard that shit? That boy got bars. Hold on. My name is Mike, and I got them flows, and I'm known to set a pick like a thumb in your nose. If I ever graduate, I'll probably go to the pros, but if not, I get with Ludacris and throw them balls. Yeah, hey, he ain't tell no lies though, cause he really got them flows. And I ain't seen him play, but he told the truth about having them flows, so I got to believe him about also having the potential to go to the pros, and if not, he'll get with Ludacris and throw them balls. Oh, yeah, hold on, let me do that one again. Hold up. Cause it gotta be smooth, like, cause he was smooth with it. So I gotta be smooth with it. Hey, yeah, okay, my name is Mike, and I got them flows, and I'm known to set a pick like a thumb in your nose. If I ever graduate, I'll probably go to the pros, but if not, I sign with Ludacris and throw them balls. Hey, yeah, get that boy his clucks. Alright, next is Big Yellow, honey. That's what I'm calling him, Big Yellow. But he tall and high yellow, like a banana, and the inside of the banana specifically. And he got a big, like, light bulb head, where it's like small at the bottom and big and round at the top. And he got some big old ears. And it's like he made and built like Michael, like Damon Wayans. That's why I said I'm not sure if these other boys are also related to them. Because they don't have, like, blatantly obvious features. They ain't who you look at and be like, damn, you saw their face. It ain't like that. But there are some little subtle things about the other guys that also give that they might also be some Wayans. But yeah, so here he go. And to be clear, I'm gonna fix his flow. Bars. But particularly his delivery, because it's really weird. And I dealt with it with Wayans Jr. I ain't finna deal with it with Big Yellow. I can't, I'm sorry. So here you go. My name is Jamal, and I love to ball. I've been playing basketball ever since you could crawl. Who else could drop step and dunk from the wall? Not cause I'm good, just cause I'm tall. Yeah, so y'all see how I delivered that. Even though I fixed his flow, it was still shaky, so we're gonna do it again. You know what I'm saying? But y'all see what I'm cooking with. You see what I'm working with. You see what it's giving. Yeah, My name is Jamal, and I love to ball. I've been playing basketball ever since you could crawl. Who else could drop step and jump from the wall? I can do it, not because I'm good, just because I'm tall. Oh, goof ass. But yeah, so they low-key hot cooking with grease. And what I appreciate and what I'm gonna point out about this is kind of highlighting, one, a bit of the foreshadowing that Michael was giving at the beginning when he was telling Junior that his his potential teammates may not come from the same privilege that he comes from. So their perspective of things and way of going about things may be different, right? And so their skill sets and interests may be a bit different as well. It's kind of given too that, you know, when it's like that and the majority of the crowd is like that, and we're dealing with kids also, it can happen with adults too, but we're dealing with kids also, you know, it makes you more susceptible to the herd mentality, as well as what the fuck is the word? Peer pressure. Shit. Yes, even though Junior knows he's great at art, he made the basketball team, there's a lot of validation here because this is his group of friends and he's outnumbered in like what the interests are. He's more susceptible to doing more of what they are interested in, and that could come with a world of things that he ain't ever thought of, you know what I'm saying, amongst street smarts and shit as well. Amongst, it has been very common for athletes to also have interest in rapping, and that ties to the foreshadowing of what Michael said as well, because what's that show where somebody says, where I'm from, you either got a mean jump shot or you're selling crack rock. That's not funny, but anyway, that's some of the mentality that they're showing. What these young men may feel like their only options are, which is sports, specifically football and basketball, and or selling crack rock, and or being a rapper. So that said, Junior then tries to jump in right after Jamal, and he bombs and fails utterly, honey. Now, art is his strength, but perhaps not rap, okay? You'll have to find him another genre and see if that works, because it was not given. But Michael comes in and he's seeing all of the things going on, and he jumps in. Now, mind you, they done moved all the furniture out the way, and they are literally standing in the middle of the living room. Like you could just imagine that there's like a burning trash can in the middle of their semicircle. The way that they have moved the furniture and have made a semicircle standing in the newly created space in the living room. So after Junior bombs talking about, my name is Junior and I'm a senior. Well, I got 2 more years. I got my father's ears. Yo, we got the refrigerator from Sears. Yeah. Michael swoops in for the save and it's like, hey, yo, I'm Big Mike and I'm his dad. Y'all better put this house back the way it had. Otherwise, I'ma be a real mad dad giving y'all all veggies, throwing y'all out my pad. Yeah, you know. Damon be having bars a little bit sometimes. Damon really be having bars a little bit sometimes. Put some respect on his name. And that's pen game. Yeah, bars. Okay, now that we got that all out the way, Michael is like, what is going on up in my home? And Junior says, yo, I made the basketball team and these are my new teammates / friends. And so Michael is like, oh, okay, congrats. Okay, I'm surprised. I must do say I am surprised, but congrats. Nonetheless, now who are these friends? Let me see these here friends. And I'm going to let y'all see them their introductions.
Why don't you introduce me to your friends? Uh-oh. That's Mike right here. How you doing? That's Jimmy. How you doing? What's up? That's John. What's up, John? What's up? And that's Jamal. And that's Craig. Craig, I want to try one myself. Look at this. Huh? This is called the I have a job shit.
And so as y'all can see, they showing some old school versus new school type shit. They are also showing like, well, I guess that's kind of the same thing, but like immaturity versus maturity. As well as that crazy handshake thing is very much so a Wayans Brothers staple, particularly the one that Damon Wayans Jr. did to Damon Wayans at Michael. Where he pulled him in, kind of smack rubbed his head and grabbed his butt type shit. As well as I think it was Jimmy, he pulled him in and like rubbed his head and shit. Like all them crazy ass handshakes, definitely Wayans Brothers staple. So gotta give that acknowledgement and appreciation. And it makes it even funnier because by this time, of course, Damon Wayans is not as old as he is now. But this was like his Cosby Show, his Family Hustle, for lack of better terms and examples. You know what I'm saying? His Bernie Mac show type shit, after he's had like a pretty long span of his career and enough comedy gems and stuff and enough story to tell to use in a show that can be in a way loosely inspired by his real life and his creative ideas and shit. And so it makes it extra funny and cool that he's having this response of like, you see this? This is I have a job shake. Of course, because also he's Michael Kyle. But in knowing that Michael Kyle is Damon Wayans and that crazy handshake thing is a Wayans Brothers staple, it's like he's kind of criticizing something that in real life, the actor and his family is responsible for embedding in the culture type shit. And we also have to acknowledge that on another type of note and page, there are also some gang-related roots to those types of crazy handshake type shits. And gangs, most of them, are also rooted in black activist groups. They're also rooted in ancient indigenous tribal things and all of that. So just making sure that we are clear on stigmas versus roots, you know? So yeah, all of those things displaying to us and displaying to Michael, proving some of his point of what he said at the beginning, foreshadowing that you may have to be careful about these newfound teammates / friends of yours, okay? Because all this time, this living room been looking a certain way. So we are to assume that all his years, that living room been looking that certain way. So all of a sudden, you make the basketball team and you get these teammates and friends and you bring your ass to the house and you done moved all the dang on furniture. I know you lying. Something is afoot to be nipped in the bud quickly. To be observed, which I'm glad that Michael also did. I appreciate that fact that is shown about the parenting on this show. Because like I said, a lot of parents would immediately have knee-jerk reactions and just go to dictating the space. But Michael sat back and observed. And he enforced some boundaries and authority and stuff. But also, he's going to continue to sit back and observe for the sake of making sure Junior gets the point of everything that's going on and what he's experiencing. Now, also in this, he so happens to notice that the majority of these young gentlemen have on articles of his clothing. And Junior's like, well, when we got to the house, we were sweaty from practice and everything, so they needed some clothes to change into, so I hooked them up. Because, of course, a lot of them are bigger than him. And y'all can see from the video, him and it's probably one or two other guys are shorties. Especially, like, in regular life, they may be considered short for a man, but average height in general, and could be even average height for men. But in basketball world, they are short as fuck. So I think that's something also that Michael was trying to say without saying. That these guys, like, there's a hierarchical thing that goes on in sports as well. And in basketball in particular, the shorties don't get a whole lot of love. You have to be damn good when you are a shorty. Hence, you see in Jamal's rhyme, he was like, I can do this, not because I'm good, but because I'm tall. Because the whole concept of the game is to get the ball in the hoop, and the hoop is up in the air. And so you need to know how to jump, or you need to be so damn tall that you don't even have to jump like talking about. Yeah, no, exactly. Jump man. That boy up to something. Jump man. Okay. Now, I saw in this interaction, Lil Damon Wayans Jr. character, John, his character's name is, he so happens to have on some underwear of Michael's. And he, talking about you want him back, pulling his shirt up and his pants down and getting ready to undress so he can give him back the pants. Michael like, y'all just go ahead, keep them. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and the New Year, and all of that, honey. Clean this house up. Clean it up. Okay? And he walks on now, he goes into the kitchen, and as Junior is preparing himself to, resituate the house and everything, the boys start exiting stage left, talking about, I got ballet at some. I got gymnastics. I gotta go do this thing. We gotta go. They ditching your boy. Needless to say, they is red flagging all over the place. And all the while, though Michael has left the room, he is observing from the kitchen. Because remember, there's a window from the kitchen to the living room, which is a pretty cool effect also. And I'm gonna have to look at some of the episodes from the first season again, because I don't remember that window in their kitchen, that window that's between their kitchen and living room, having glass and panes. I don't remember it having that. I feel like the first season it was just like an opening type window. Anywho, in the next scene, Michael is in the kitchen talking to Jay, and he is like, I really want to make these cookies special for Katie. Okay, they have to be perfect. And so Jay is giving him directions over the phone and telling him, some other stuff to do to the cookies or whatever. His ass go into the oven and just recklessly grabbing the pan with no pot holder lets out a well, honey, a well of a squeal and a squawkle. And Jay is like, you forgot to use the pot holder, didn't you? He like, no, of course not. Of course not. And then he asks her how her mama doing, and then she's still in pain. And apparently she said, why are you smiling? He said, no, I'm not smiling. What are you talking about? I ain't smiling. And apparently she can hear him smile, which is not so crazy when you think about it, because you can hear the spit clicking in somebody's mouth and the change of their posture of their mouth changes when you smile, of course. So it can change the perception of the delivery, how smooth or airy it comes out. The difference in articulation of the words and the diction and all of that, the inflections and such. Which is some actor shit also. That's funny. In the midst of him getting off the phone with Jay, Claire and Charmaine, who is played by That's So Raven. It ain't the future she can see yet, but she's very much so here. And like I said, she's playing Claire's friend Charmaine. I wonder why they chose that name, because Raven really don't look like a Charmaine. And when I hear Charmaine, I think about the Cosby Show as well. The girl who plays Dejanay on the Proud Family plays Charmaine on the Cosby Show in the later seasons. When Maxine Shaw, attorney at law from Living Single, is on the Cosby Show, she played one of their nieces or cousins or something of the sort, and Charmaine is her friend. Yeah, so Charmaine, Raven Simone, they walk into the kitchen or whatever, and Michael is like, hold on, where my sugar at? So she go back and she give him a little kiss or whatever, and they do their little fatherly daughter thing. That's so cute and all that good shit. We love to see it. And they're getting ready to head out. He's like, hold on, Charmaine, yo, why don't you invite your parents over for dinner someday, and they can try my famous fried chicken. That sounds good right about now, honestly, with some macaroni and cheese and some greens and some yams. Nice little piece of cheesecake. Anyway, so she like, they're vegetarian. He said, I saw the chickens. Now, they don't think that's funny. Now, I think it's because they up to some chicory dickory dock and their mind is more hyper-focused on that, and they more frustrated with him disturbing their chicory dickory dock journey. But they ain't chuckling. He like, that was a joke. And they like, oh, okay. And he like, well, who make you laugh? And Charmaine say, Carrot Top. He said, go steady. And I agree, because I feel like his little chicken joke was, a little tee-hee-hee, a little kiki, She talking about some Carrot Top. Michael finally heads upstairs to lay cookies on Katie. And she said, Mommy's cookies are better. And she didn't even taste them. She just took the plate and set them to the side. So he like, yeah, I see how you could come to that conclusion without even tasting them. And he like, this ain't the first time I had to take over for your mama. And so she like, really? He said, yeah, you might have been too young to remember, but, and then we go into one of those dreamy flashback sequences type shits. And we see a beautiful big and pregnant, honey. Big and beautiful and pregnant Tisha Campbell, SJ, with this nice, a basic housewife, basic flipped under bob with the bay yang. It's real cute on her. Yeah. And she's having a hard time with her pregnancy. She's just feeling big. She's just feeling fat and just huge. Like she's about to explode. She's ready to get that baby up out of her. And Michael is teasing, talking about, yeah, if you get any bigger, honey, that baby is just going to get up and walk and run up out of there, honey. Believe it can fly. And so he going to say, yeah, it just got so overwhelming. I just decided to take over for her. So we see a flash of him coming down the stairs all big and pregnant. Talking about, oh, yeah, I don't know what women be talking about. Yeah, my boobs are a little bigger, but it gives me something to do in the shower. Sir, please. So then once he's like all good and comfortable with it and everything, he started having contractions and started wailing and wheezing and wobbling and carrying on and acting like Red Fox from Sanford and Son, having a heart attack, talking about Elizabeth, this the big one. And he called Junior in there, and Junior's a little boy at this age, of course, and the little boy that's playing him is the little boy that plays little boy Jabari on Girlfriends. So he's telling him to get the car. He said, Dad, I'm a kid, I can't drive. He said, look, if I can be pregnant, you can drive, okay? He's telling the story, right? So I guess that's how it worked. So he talking about, yeah, come on, boy, left, right, go, left, right, hold on. So then we flash back to where they at in the room and whatnot. And he is steady, laying it on thick. He's trying to make a laugh. He's talking about Junior jumped the curb or some shit, swerve. Miss Stephen King ran right into Biggie and Tupac and some more shit. And then they made it to the hospital and all that. And she would not chuckle, not a Nathaniel. And that's how you know she's being willfully resistant to the humor. She do not want to give him Nathaniel. Which gives, she not just missing her mama, she also has some resentment and some suppressed and built up anger towards him. Yes, little people, as in children, can have such a thing towards their parents. Absolutely. And it can show up like this. And so he just laid down and is like, look, you go ahead and take your bath, and I'll tell you the rest of the story when you done. She said, I ain't taking no bath until mommy gets home. He said, honey, your butt gonna be humming. I cannot. And as the scene wraps up, he asks her, what is all of that about? She said, you can't watch me take a bath. You're a boy. So he said, I like the way you think. Please keep that same attitude until you're 30. Now we get back downstairs with Michael, and Junior is still moving the furniture, reassembling it back to its normal state. Struggling, might I add. So Michael asks him if he needs some help, and he goes on over to help him. And as they are picking up the couch and moving it, Michael brings up to him, it must be nice now to have your friends all over. You a hot commodity right now and things. And he said, yeah. We really cooling it and shit. They gonna come over tomorrow too, and the next day. And Michael says, okay, I see you or whatever. And Junior says, yeah, so can we get some soy milk? Cause John is allergic to lactose. He lactose intolerant. And can we get some turkey because Jamal is Muslim? And can I get a maid? Because Mr. need a shaving, supper need a cooking, the children need a feeding, the cows need a milking, and his shoes need a shining. And Michael basically get with him like, hold up. Because it seems to me like your friends is treating you like some spoiled little rich kid, and you really is a spoiled little poor kid, and your daddy is well off. We ain't doing all that. And Junior start going on talking about, look, you're wrong. They really think I'm cool because I know how to ball. Okay, I'm the truth. And I really feel like, honestly, that's Junior, like, kind of trying to convince himself of that because that's what he thinks ought to be the truth. He really wants it to be the truth. So he ain't really trying to hit it right now. He just want to enjoy it for what it is right now. And it's understandable. But y'all, But Michael tells him, yeah, you play like Jordan. He was like, for real? He said, yeah, Vernon Jordan. He said he got a lot in common with a lot of the greats who done played the game, my dude. Allen Iverson used to get water for the boys back in the day. They had a dude they called the Iceman. Okay, Magic Johnson still be, getting donuts for the team and some more shit. I'll let that ain't exactly what he said. I'm gonna put the clip up there. Because I just feel like we got to honor Damon's comedy genius, But in this whole spiel, he's basically re-implementing to Junior what he was insinuating earlier that I elaborated upon, which is that, for one, you are the odd man out. For two, you are a shorty. You starting kind of at the bottom, my dude. You starting at the bottom and you having to work your way up. So, essentially, not only are you being treated as the oddball out and you surrounded by some hounds on some shit, you are also low-key, high-key being hazed. Because you have to prove yourself because you not that good. And they see that you green. And just real quick, I just want to say twist betweens. Of course, y'all understand why I put that up there when I put the clip up. I might put the clip up right after I talk about that, or I might put it at the end for the outro. We'll see. I'm doing some new things these days. So we transition to the next scene, and we're upstairs with Claire and Charmaine, and they are looking at a pregnancy test. And this is the part of the storyline that is said to be the reason why Jasmine Cole's mama took her off of the show. She felt like this storyline was inappropriate for her daughter to be a part of, and she told them to cut it. You know what I'm saying? As in her daughter from the program. So that's what happened. And so we are here with Jennifer Freeman, as we know, and here we go. So they're looking at the pregnancy test, and they're looking at the little paper that explains, how to use it, how it works, what all the little symbols mean, and it's tank. So Claire's reading it off, and she like, okay, it's blue, so that means positive. And Charmaine says, okay, so that's great, that's good news. And Claire says, honey, no lemon bleach. Positive means pregnant. Ooh. So we're all shaking in our boots at this point. And before they can even shake good, Michael busts in like, hey, ladies. He's like, oh, my gosh. And Claire just jumps. Of course, they both jump. They got to swipe and hurry up and hide the papers and all of the evidence and the incrimination, honey. And Claire's like, Dad, don't you knock? Oh, my gosh. And he says, not on doors that I own. Tisk. Bummer, right? Bummer. We all know what it's like. Just a little side note to that, though. I mean, I get the hype, but I still feel like children should have some level of respective boundaries and privacy. Now, in this particular case, it ended up working in like what was for the best, because they were being sneaky on some shit that the parents did need to know. So I got mixed feelings about that. But what do y'all think? Put it in the comments. I'll elaborate on all of that on another date. But yeah, just a little side note, my little thoughts that I feel like you should knock. I feel like, or at least announce yourself. At least that. I'll take that because she does have a level of privacy being able to close her door. And I know a lot of people, when they're teenagers and when they were teenagers, kids and all of that, they were not allowed to close their door. I know my one of my older sisters was not allowed to close the door at one point when we were younger. And whenever she was able to close the door, then I was able to close the door. So you know how they be, right? Yeah, the younger siblings often don't have to experience the same shit. So yeah, it'd be like that. But yeah. So that being said, she did have that much privacy to have permission, be able to have her door closed. So I would say at least, if not knock, at least like announce yourself like, hey Claire, I'm coming in. That way it gives her the opportunity that like if they're not decent, if you will, they can at least be like, hey, no, we undressed, or whatever. So yeah, he comes on in and he's like, but nah, for real, on a serious note, ordinarily I would knock, but I just couldn't help myself right now. I had to come on up here and show you my new little style. And he lifts up his shirt and he has bedazzled his abs and his belly button, honey. And he's talking about, oh yes, ain't it cute? Everybody's doing it, right? So this is a cute little string attached to her being given permission to wear what she had on earlier in the episode, and accompanied by her bedazzling of it all. And he gonna say, oh yes, wait till you see my thong. And so as he's doing all of these uncanny unpleasantries, they like in a grossed out manner hurry up and try to on the slide grab the garbage bag, and they run out. And they get all the way down the stairs, almost out, and he catches up with them and it's like, hold on, Miss Lady, when you start taking out the trash, boy, it's something having a hyper-vigilant parent, ain't it? It's a blessing and a curse, because you know that a lot of times when your parents are hyper-vigilant like that, outside of just crazy-ass, abusive as parents, that's not what I'm talking about. Now, being hyper-vigilant at any rate, you may have some moments where it's like, hey, you see her in the line or some things, but it's not like malice. But yeah, it's something having hypervigilant parents, because it's a blessing and a curse, because it's hard to get away with shit. But it also allows you to practice being sneaky. And that's why I said that earlier. That's another reason why I said that earlier about Michael not wanting Claire to have too much freedom and too much power too soon, because he recognizes that she's so smart and so brilliant in her own ways that it could toe the line of her being too damn smart for her own good and too damn brilliant for her own good and other people's, evil genius type shit. Because out of all the kids, Claire is the most like Michael. And I love that that's one thing that was maintained about Claire's character, because even when Jazz Ray Cole played her, that thing still remained. Claire is the most like Michael out of all the kids. So he see himself. That's why, he gives her space and her autonomy on some shit. But at the same time, he got to be like 5 steps ahead of her and kind of pull trickery, dickory, dock, and sneakery on her, because she a trickery, dickory, dock. And him being hypervigilant like that, her being hypervigilant in her own way as well, honey, see and notice everything. Just a little side note story. Speaking of hypervigilant parents, I was watching Damon Wayans' Club Shay Shay interview earlier, and he was telling a story about how he took 15 cents from his daddy and he missed it, and he beat the crap out of him. Beat him literally like he stole some, which he did, but he didn't beat him like it was just 15 cents. He basically said he beat him like it was 50,000. Racks on racks on racks, goddamn. And I just brought that up like on some shit with hypervigilant parents. Notice every fucking thing. Notice when anything gets moved in any type of fucking way. You shuffle something a little bit to the left. If you wiped it, why is a fingerprint on this? I see some lint on this. Has somebody been in here? But also, a lot of time the kids inherit that shit, like Claire. And hell, I know I inherit my mama shit, because I can tell when somebody done been in my room, in my car, in a space that I frequent, because I can just sense that the energy is changed. And you know how like dogs can smell other dogs and other animals on people? It's like that type of sense. So I love those elements of My Wife and Kids, because I feel like it's a unique quality from other family sitcom shows. There's a big psychological theme in My Wife and Kids that I haven't seen and I don't see in other family sitcoms. So yeah, even though they don't say it directly, it's like highly there. But anywho, so they run down, he catches up with them, all of that, and he like, since when do you take the trash out? She said, oh, I'm just trying to help since mom is away. He said, oh, okay, don't worry about that. Takes the trash. Y'all go ahead and play, do your thing. I'll take care of this. Oh gosh. It be like that sometimes, don't it? Ooh, I know they heart drops in their ass. And so I wanted to finish that particular, evaluating that particular scene before I address this particular point. In bringing up the story that Damon Wayans told in his interview, I also feel it's responsible to pinpoint a very important lesson that he got from that experience and intertwine it with the themes and lessons in this show and in this episode. Because I already knew, of course, that this show encompasses a whole compilation of his life's experiences and, from his childhood and this and that. And it's distributed in, different creative, spontaneous ways. But it all comes from his life's experiences that he's transmuted into creative comedic storytelling type shit, right? And so when he concluded in telling the story, he said that made him always, in so many words, I'm not going to quote him to a T, but he basically said he don't ever want to be or feel broke enough to miss 15 cents. So I feel like it's so profound that at the young age that he was then, he was able to take that experience and recognize the sadness in his daddy's response. Like, not demonizing him, but having compassion and maybe even a little bit of pity in there. But transmuting it to seeking abundance inside and out and spreading that mentality. Because also, it's definitely not okay it's not okay that Damon took the 15 cents. It's also not okay that his daddy responded to the extremity which he did. All the while, he could have addressed him about it, knew that he was lying or telling the truth, and, you know, took the 15 cents or, you know, made him work or, you know, whatever, what have you. There were a plethora of ways he could have responded to that. All the while, the response that he did at that extremity, it just bears the question, would he have recognized how low his daddy was in spirit? Because, and I'm trying to be like responsible about my wording, because I don't want to give a connotation that Damon didn't give, because it can get real tricky when there's like violence involved, right? Because people are quick to just totally demonize people when they do certain things. They can take, you know, particular attributes or particular moments of people's lives and just make that their whole identity. And I don't want to do that, because Damon didn't do that. Marlon also didn't do that. It's very clear that despite his flaws, he's a very loving man and he meant well. And I think that's proven because I believe that that's a part of the lesson that his daddy was trying to communicate in his reaction. Communicating to him, nigga, I know to you it's just 15 cents, but to me, that shit is everything. That shit is all I got, you know? And so that's his reality. And it may be sad as fuck. And he may also, all at the same time, as there's a method to the madness, be dead as wrong how he's reacting. However, all of these truths need to be acknowledged. Because Damon was able to take that wisdom and the mentality that he formed from that experience and run with it into all of his different projects and all of his different workings. And I feel like he had an opportunity like no other to pour all of that into the show. And he did so very efficiently, to where that same hypervigilance that his daddy had is also present in the character Michael Kyle. And I'm gonna stick a pin in that for now, and we are going to reoccurringly revisit that particular topic and theme as we cover the rest of this episode, the end of this episode specifically, and throughout the second part of the episode, which is episode 2. So just keep that in mind. All right, so now we get to the next scene, and Lil Katie is in there on the phone telling Jay that she don't want to eat the cookies. She can't bear to taste the cookies. She know that they nasty, they trash, it's filthy dumpster truck juice. And she see Michael walking in, and she like, oh no, pimp down, pimp 32, pimp in distress, clean up, Algie. And she hang up the phone. And Michael stroll up on her, and we get a mirroring effect of blocking, directing, actor's choice, maybe the compilation. But he strolls up on her. He say, who's that on the phone? She says, Santa. He said, oh, what he got to say at this time of summer? And she just look at him and she take off running. And it mirrors the same way that Claire just took off running. And she literally took off running upstairs the way that Claire took off running downstairs. I be loving little shit like that. So then the phone rings. Michael answers. It's Jay. And of course she wondering what's going on. Is everything all right? He say, yeah, everything's cool. Katie just miss you. She really missing you and shit. And he's kind of like fumbling with the trash and whatnot as he's talking. And she says, based off what he's saying, we can infer that she's saying, are you sure? And he says, yes, positive. And on that last positive, he's looking at that pregnancy test. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Alone, way from home. And this leads us to the final scene where he's sitting there pondering and waiting and pondering. Claire walks in and he stalls up and he's like, hey, what you see right here? And she said, huh? I'm legally blind. I can't see. P.O.P. Hold it down. And he say, so clearly Charmaine has not been sleeping here every night. And Claire is in a panic now, and she say, please, 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 more porridge. No, I'm sorry, y'all. But she said, please, please do not tell her parents, honey, please. And he say, look, I got to, like, what you expect? Her parents need to know this. But I am going to give her the opportunity to be able to tell them herself. And Claire asked for the opportunity to be able to talk to Charmaine before Michael makes any more steps. And he asks, how did she get herself in this position? And Claire says she had sex. But yeah. And she thanks him for his mercy and his grace and his love and his patience. And she kisses him on the cheek. So cute. So adorable. And like I said, she thanked him and she walks on off, and then she stops and she turns around and she said, hey, how did you know it wasn't me? He said, what you mean? She said, how you know it wasn't me that was pregnant with the pregnancy test and all that? He said, because I know my daughter and I trust her and I know what she about. Plus, you told me that you weren't having sex until you get your opportunity with Will Smith. And she say, not until the Wild Wild West. And she stressed on off. Now, honey, I don't even really know what that means. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if she don't want him no more or if that means that she want him sooner. Y'all help me out. If y'all know, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. And that is the end of the episode. And where I want to touch on that lack mentality versus Android transmuted into abundance type shit. I kind of, it's fine because, you know, everything was divinely designed and happened how it needed to, right? And y'all, the wind blew and pollen got all up in my shit. So excuse my nasal passages going in and out. Anywho, it all happened how it, you know, was supposed to happen, and Jennifer Freeman did her thing. It's cool. But I also kind of hate that Jasray Cole's mother felt the need to take her out due to this storyline, because it wasn't, I don't know exactly what she thought it was. I don't know if she read the whole script, or maybe she just didn't, maybe she didn't like how how Michael was handling it. Maybe she felt like Charmaine should have been immediately told on to her parents and reprimanded or kicked out or sent to a nun coven or something. I don't know. But I feel like, to each his own, but I feel like she took her out for no reason. Because I feel like the storyline was done in a very wholesome, responsible, educational, delicate, and tender manner. Without slut-shaming and demonizing kids for exploring, okay? Because, yes, all human beings have some form of sexuality. Educate yourself, please. And if I have the time and the capacity, I may leave some links about childhood sexuality and childhood sexual development in the comments, just so y'all know I'm not making up stuff. But, you know, it's often a very stigmatizing topic when children become teen parents. And honestly, it's not fair to stigmatize the children, because that is a reflection of the parents. Just like if the children are out here robbing and jacking and killing and all of that good stuff, and there are cases and levels where charges can be pressed against parents on a children's behalf, then why can't we understand that also when children conceive children, there is some form of disconnect between the parents and the child? And that is the parents' fault and responsibility. So kicking them out is bad parenting. Slut-shaming them and demonizing them is bad parenting. Should you continue to encourage them to have more kids and continue to, you know, have a reckless and uneducated sex life and all of that? Absolutely not. Should you completely take over their rights? I feel like that's a case-by-case thing, you know? But also, you can help them, which I feel like you should, because they are children. And they are your children. And you have some accountability as to how they have ended up in this situation, whether you like it or not. So yes, you should help them as the parent, and also in holding them accountable for their own actions and the results that have come with those actions, and their own responsibility as the parents that they have become. Helping them with that duality by still, you know, leaving parental responsibility on them, such as they can't be doing all that partying and stuff. Like in my case, you know, just where I am in life and mindset right now, if I had a teenager and she got pregnant, I would allow her to go to prom. I would watch her baby while she go to prom. I would watch her baby for her to do graduation night type stuff. But all of that, like, extra, read all about it. You want to go to every single birthday party, every single Christmas gathering, every single Friendsgiving, every single Valentine's Day, and you want to go to the club every week, every weekend. I ain't going to be able to do it. Probably once a month or once every other month, I'll take the baby so you can go have a breather and, you know, do your thing. But you do have to understand that like you are a parent now, even though you are still a child, and or as the years go on you become a young adult, teenage adult, in college, or trying to establish your career and all of that. So yeah, you need the help. It takes a village, and that is the whole point that I was bringing back up on the lack mentality versus abundance front. I feel like it is a lack mentality to demonize and start disowning and abusing and abandoning your kids when and if they become teenage parents. I feel like that comes from a lack mentality, because if you had an abundance mentality, you would tap back into it takes a village. So when someone finds themselves led astray, off track, detoured, it's not for the village to just automatically ostracize them and shun them and all of that. It's for the village to come in and help redirect them. And when you can get that type of thing at home and or in your immediate areas, when you have a village, such as how Claire has two parents. Based off the conversation, Charmaine has two parents. But it doesn't seem like Charmaine recognizes that she has a village, such as she doesn't just have her parents. She doesn't just have Claire. Claire's family cares about Charmaine also, because they have an abundant mentality. So they're not just thinking about the well-being of their own kid. They care about other people's kids too, specifically and particularly, and especially the friends that their kids have and that they have closest to them specifically as well. So that type shit is a blessing, because there have been a ton of situations, and I have observed and witnessed a ton of situations where girls find out that they're pregnant as teenagers, and somebody else's parent finds out, and that parent blows the situation up and makes it so much worse than it would have been, and they get messy about the situation. They participate and spread gossip about the child and just add all types of insult to injury to what the child could already be going through and what their family could already be going through, and so it's definitely a blessing, and it's a blessing that they put together this storyline and displayed it in such a way, because that needs to be seen. That needs to be done and seen like so much more, because Charmaine is more consumed by fear, and that makes me concerned about like, and this is what I'm saying about like there's a disconnect between the parents and the child. The parents are falling off somewhere. They're hyper focused in one spot and they're totally neglecting something else, because Charmaine is so wrapped up in fear that she's not considering there's a little being growing inside of you. So the decisions that you're about to make is going to affect that. It's going to affect that child. And yeah, I know it's very easy to say, well, she's a child, so of course you would think that way. But no, I have plenty of friends and classmates that were pregnant in middle school. Okay, and they have the capacity and the mentality of whatever decision I make. Like, I have to think of this child. I can't just run away. Am I gonna get an abortion? Like, what we gonna do? Type shit. And Charmaine is wrapped up in fear. And this could have easily been just another girl on the IRT. I think that's the acronym in that movie, the IRT. When a girl has the baby, she throws it in the trash can. She's a teenager. Like, she was a scholar student. I think she wanted to be a doctor and some more shit. She was real brilliant, gifted student. She was just very adultified by her village. She was made to babysit a lot. She didn't really get to do a whole lot of the normal things that the other kids were doing, and that caused her to be very much so more infatuated and more focused on things that she associated with being an adult. And it seems like Charmaine is in a similar state, where it seems like her parents may be very hard on her. It doesn't seem like they may beat her, but sometimes like the browbeating and the psychological warfare that can come from the shaming and the ridicule and the hypercriticism can feel like it's so much worse. And it seems like that's what she was getting wrapped up in, the fear of the drastic disappointment and like the dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. She probably felt like they wouldn't want to have nothing to do with her once they find out that she's pregnant, and they might feel like she's totally thrown her life away now. Everything she's ever done that was good, great, successful is now gone down the drain. You ruined your life, because that's how a lot of parents tend to react, even if they don't mean to come off hurtful. It's just a knee-jerk reaction because they themselves are shocked, they're hurt, they're scared, they're disappointed in both probably themselves as well as their child. So all of that to say, that's why it's good to have a village, to be a buffer and a cushion and a filter for those types of things, to be a voice of reason, a different perspective, because Jay and Michael were teen parents. And they're doing very well for themselves, have made a very nice living for themselves, and are continuing to do so. So they are already a front and center example and potential support system for Charmaine if she was to choose to keep the baby. And I'm going to leave it at that. And of course, we will continue to expound upon all of the other things of the episode in part 2, episode 2, which is the continuation of this episode. Of course, this episode and the next episode are essentially the same episode, despite them being labeled episode 1, episode 2, the name on it is Mom's Away. And one says part 1 and the other says part 2. But y'all get the heat. Y'all get the heat. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this couch right. And I am thoroughly appreciative of the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you could be one of the first to be back through these cleanly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.